So the story starts off in a party, and Clara meets Drosselmeyer.
Her family has this really big Christmas party, and her godfather, Drosselmeyer, comes and gives her a Nutcracker.
And then the night goes on and they like party and have fun.
Her brother Fritz ends up breaking the Nutcracker, so the uncle has to repair it, and then she goes to sleep with the Nutcracker.
Drosselmeyer brings the Nutcracker to life,
and it turns into a real person. And there's this battle between the Nutcracker and his soldiers and the Mouse King and all the mice. And Clara saves the Nutcracker by taking off her shoe and throwing it and killing the mice.
And so eventually the Nutcracker becomes a prince, and he takes Clara with him through the land of sweets.
And then they watch a bunch of different variations of like candy canes and Arabian and sugar plum. And then at the end of the ballet, she ends up waking up and figures out it's all a dream.
I was the Harlequin Doll. I was a Russian dancer, and I was a flower and snowflake. I really liked watching the individual diversements, like Fiona was the Spanish dancer, and like watching the candy canes and all of the different like individual acts when it was like more centered on certain people. I thought that was very cool to watch.
I was the Christmas fairy, and I was also in Snowflakes and Flowers. I really enjoyed the party scene. I always thought the party scene was really fun. It's kind of like boring to watch at times, but since there's like so much going on with like the party parents and like the party kids and they're doing their tricks, and then you get to see like Drosselmeyer come out, and then like the battle scene happens. Like I think the first part of it is like the story part of it, which is why I think it's like the best part.
I was the Spanish soloist. I was a flower and a snowflake. My favorite part of the ballet is I really liked watching some of the divertissements like Russian, and I thought that those were the most fun to watch, and I think the best part of like being a part of it was like being able to spend time with your friends.
I was Mrs. Stahlbaum in the party scene, and then I was the Sugar Plum Fairy.
We started the Nutcracker in the summer, so we've been working on it for a really long time now. In the summer we like did all the choreography, like they taught us all of it again, and then we had Saturday rehearsals where we just kind of like ran through things, making sure like we know what was going on. And yeah, it was really good to start it early, since it's like such a big like production, and like so a lot of the people were really new to it, so like getting people like started early and knowing that we like knew what we were doing, and then bring it to life on stage with like acting and everything.
Our dance teacher, Tierney Rowe, she was the one that set it all up. And we started in August, July, August-ish. And then throughout like the months, every single month leading up to our show, we did about 2 rehearsals a month on the weekends. And then in November, we did like 1 every weekish. And then my favorite part would have had to been the week leading up, because I really like tech and dress when we get to dance in our costumes and everything.
Practicing was like every other Saturday, and it was like really fun, and it was very entertaining to do because we would always practice and then have like a break, and we would always like have time to socialize with each other. It was just very entertaining and fun.
It was really cool to like go from practicing in our studio to like the really big stage with like backdrops and the tree and stuff, and being able to practice on the stage. It was really hard at times to like learn your spacing and stuff and just kind of adjust, but I think it was a good experience overall.
It was hard. It was a lot of time, but in the end it was all worth it, and you were always with your friends. Even at like the hard long rehearsals, when you'd be there for like 6 hours, you'd be there with some of your closest friends, so it's like it kind of was as much work as you put into it, you got like out of it. You got good memories.
It's a very long and intense rehearsal process. We started rehearsing in summer, so doing it for 6 months is a lot, and sometimes we hate it, sometimes we don't want to go, but just like performing it and seeing our work pay off is just very rewarding.
Costumes were a lot better this year. We had a little bit of a better budget, so we were able to get costumes that help bring the story to life more. And we had a lot of help from the community. Like my mother helped sew some costumes. There was a lot of people from the community that volunteered a lot of time and sewed us costumes. But they were all very, very good, and they fit the story very well.
I was a Christmas fairy, so I had a green tutu and it like stuck up really big. And that was my favorite also because it was mine. I also had a crown with that, so it was really pretty. A lot of the costumes we used were from the previous year we did the Nutcracker, so some of them we kind of had to like alter and things to fit people, but for the budget we had this year, the costumes were really good.
My costume for Spanish, it was this like really big black tutu that kind of stuck out with like lace sleeves, and it had some like red sequins on it, so it was really fun to wear. I got to use like a fan in my dance, so that was really fun. And the costumes, they all came together because of like help that we had in the community. So like Ashley Elliott, Jennifer Morf, all like put in their time to sew costumes, and that made it really good.
So I got really cool costumes. The main dance teacher in charge of it, her mom actually made me one of my costumes, which was so cool, and it was such an honor to dance in it. And then I had a really cool Arabian costume that I've never had anything like it before. So yeah, awesome costumes.
The costumes for party scene, they're very big and more like the era, the 1800-ish, the late 1800-ish. And then when you get into the land of the sweets, they're very sparkly, and they characterize the dance and the variations very well.
Ashley Elliott, she did the Sugar Plum this year, and she was the first one to do it on point. We had Angel do it on point like 2 years ago, but this was like the first time that the Sugar Plum and Ashley as like her role had point on everything. So it was really nice to look up to her and like learn from like her being on point, and also like doing a pas de deux with Dallas, like that was all very new. So it was very fun to watch her grow, and then for me to like watch her and learn from like her mistakes and like what she was doing to like improve myself.
I'd say Abby Keene, she was always like there helping the younger students, especially like some of the people that were in elementary school, like knowing what they were supposed to do, but also juggling like being in almost every act and just being able to like always be there if you needed like extra stuff for your costume, extra help if you didn't know what you were doing. She was always like helpful to making sure everyone was comfortable.
Definitely Abby Keene, the Christmas fairy, she did a really good job with like the littler kids, like helping them, even though that wasn't like officially her job. Like she kind of took in that role, and that like really set a tone for us, the cast. And the other senior, Ashley Elliott, also did a really good job with that, with kind of giving an example of like how to work hard and be dedicated, and I think that was good for everyone.
I think Abby Keene really contributed a lot. She helped the little kids in their dance. I know it was really hard for them to really remember what they're doing. So when she was on stage, she would help them, and she helped us older dancers too, and she would make sure everyone was ready and in their places and everyone was confident in themselves.
I really liked just dancing new parts I haven't danced before with the people that I love dancing with, and it was just a great experience overall this time around.
Everyone was really professional and did a really good job at like bringing the story to life.